What the Business YouTube, episode 19. My name is Jay Florida, and today's career of discussion is a mascot. So, what is a mascot? A mascot is a person, animal, or object adopted by a group such as a sports team, school, or organization to represent them and bring good luck. Now, to give you a piece of history, in the late 19th century, teams would often use live animals like the Yale Bulldog, Handsome Dan, or symbolic figures as mascots to represent their teams and bring good luck. But the modern costume mascot emerged in the mid-20th century, influenced by the popularity of puppets like the Muppets. Now, a few basic requirements to becoming a mascot include contacting organizations and volunteering at local events. Building a portfolio, documenting your routines, performances, and crowd engagement, as well as networking through social media or specialized conferences. Applying for a local position should typically take you anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, though professional leagues require 3 to 5 years of experience. As far as your range as an entry-level mascot, you can expect to make $30,000 to $60,000, with a few things affecting how much you take home being the popularity of the mascot or represented organization, experience, and if you're able to mascot in a minor or major league. Now, a day in life as a mascot can be described as routine practicing, energetic, maintaining character, and of course, physically demanding. And as far as opportunity goes, though it does require a sort of physical prowess, there are no barriers keeping anyone from becoming a mascot. For that reason, the mascot does score green. A few examples to take note of in this field include Rocky the Mountain Lion of the Denver Nuggets, who mascots in the NBA, Philly Fanatic of the Philadelphia Phillies, who mascots in the MLB, and also Mr. Redlegs of the Cincinnati Reds, who also mascots in the MLB. Now, for our fact moment segment of this episode, starting off with fact number 1. On January 1st, 2023, Washington Commanders mascot Major Tuddy makes his debut as the youngest NFL mascot as of recording. Fact number 2. September 18, 2026 would mark the 16-year anniversary of Rufus the Bobcat initiating a brawl with Ohio State mascot Brutus Buckeye. And fact number 3. The most commonly used animal among colleges as a mascot is the bulldog, with over 40 universities and colleges using the animal as a mascot. For our last segment, before we move on to the circle of influence, we have health risks and mitigation. Starting off with risk of injury due to falling and collisions while performing stunts, overheating as a result of long periods wearing a heavy costume, and social fatigue as a result of consistent, high-energy interactions. To mitigate, consistent training and choreography to minimize mistakes. Staying hydrated and ensuring the costume is properly ventilated. And proper rest and recovery. Now, that does it for our primary segment. I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to my co-host. Let them take over for the circle of influence. Getting paid, well, holler whenever that stop. My team good, we don't really need a mascot. Swear to God, really performing at the 5th grade talent show. Circle of influence. Starting off the list, we have respect. Is this a career or position that brings me respect and dignity? Now, there's nothing that you could exactly put your finger on to say, oh, being a mascot is off-putting. However, this is sort of like a Batman Bruce Wayne situation. Figuratively speaking, people respect and love the Bat in a different way that they do Bruce Wayne. Why? Because nobody knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne, and vice versa. For that reason, the mascot does score yellow. Moving on, we have growth. Is this a career or position that presents me with the opportunity to grow from $100,000 earning threshold? For this segment, the mascot does score green, with sources online citing that the mascot has the potential to make as much as $500,000 in a single year. Moving on, we have gore. Is this a career or position that will have me dealing with an abundance of blood, violent action, grotesque imagery, or scenery? Now, for this segment, The mascot does score green, as in no, you will not be dealing with any of the mentioned before. For our last ideological standpoint, we have moral conflict. Is this a career or position that will have me compromise any of my foreseeable morals? Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't kill. The basic set of guidelines. For this segment, the mascot does score green. Moving on to the ideological side of things, we have gender demographics, where men make up 70% of the industry and women make up 30% of the industry. Next, we have ethnic demographics, where Caucasians make up 58% of the industry, Hispanics make up 20% of the industry, and African Americans make up 10% of the industry. Last but not least, location demographics, top paying states, no particular order. Starting off with Pennsylvania, followed by New York, then Rhode Island, as well as Delaware. Finishing off the list, we have Connecticut. Now that does it for the circle of influence. I'm gonna go ahead and give the floor back to Florida. I'm back. So, to put the mascot in the summary, with your identity being withheld from the public most oftentimes, right? It does put respect in sort of a gray area, or in this instance, a yellow area. Though you do have an incredible amount of room to grow and scale up, it's not something that you should pursue if you lack in a physical department, being that your duties consist of, lots of high energy interactions, running, jumping, backflipping, interacting with the crowd. Neither is it something that you should pursue if you are a queasy type of person, or you get claustrophobic, since you'll be wearing a big heavy costume for at least a few hours. With that being said, it does look like we have a full episode today. The word of the day is incompetent. Self-help resources on the board as always. I'll leave it down in the description. And to show your support, if you want to see this kind of content more often, make sure to comment, like, or subscribe. And I'll see you guys on episode 20.